Christmas time is fun time, but it can also be hungry time. Yes, all of Santa's little helpers can really build up an appetite while wrapping presents, decorating the tree, or posting right-leaning hateful clickbait as they troll on Facebook. That's why it's important to take a moment for a Yuletide break and enjoy the tastes of the season, like the great flavor found in Mother Mermelstein's homemade tranquility balls. One bite and you won't have a care in the world. Step 1, start by folding 1 quart of Breakstone brand sour cream.
What's that? Excuse me? And yet the music keeps
so sorry.
going. Yeah.
I am a professional.
That's right.
Mermelstein sour cream. I know how his brain works. Start by folding 1 quart of Breakstone brand sour cream into an origami swan. Remove the back of the toilet tank in your powder room and see if it floats. If it does, move on to step 3. If not, go to step 2. Step 2, go to step 3. Step 3, soak the mysterious chains that dangle from the underside of a school bus in a bucket of rendered duck fat. Here's a helpful hint. Make sure to tip the driver a 20 so that he doesn't drive away, or simply knock him unconscious with a tire iron. Step 4, while the chain's steep, make your roux. Start with 2 quarts of water reclaimed from the upside-down trash can lid that your dick neighbor has just left unattended since mid-July. Or, I added a word, since he's left unattended since mid-July. I messed it up. Step 4, while the chain's steep, oh, I already did that, I'm sorry. Add to the water, in reverse order, 1 6-ounce can of Clamato, 2 cans of hominy grits, 65 cups of Kikkoman brand low-sodium soy sauce, 2 squirrels in the throes of passion, and 1 dying goldfish. Stir with a 4-foot yardstick, making sure not to anger the squirrels.
It's important.
It's as though you've been in a winter-long slumber and you've come alive. Step 5. Scrape 2 tablespoons of rust from the abandoned swing set in the gully at the end of your road. Sprinkle the brown dust on a sleeping hobo and collect enough of his tears to seal in an envelope. Put them in an old Dristan bottle reserved for later. You know why. Step 6. Stop numbering the steps in this recipe. Step 7. Just kidding. Start running an empty blender with the lid off and toss in 5 eggs from across the room. If you get at least 3 of them in the blender, give yourself 25 points. Add to the blender a tablespoon of guava compote, 2 cups of kosher salt, 3 grinds of anti-Semitic pepper, 1 peeled ham, and a can of Alpo brand dog food. Look for the money-saving Alpo coupon in this week's issue of Hey, This Used to Be a Horse magazine. On newsstands now. Preheat your oven by running a hairdryer in it, and then try to fit your neighbor's chinchilla on the middle rack. As soon as the varmint gets sleepy, douse him with honey, add a dry rub of sofa cushion fibers, and sprinkle with Kraft Baby Marshmallows. Let sit for 12 fortnights before serving. As you plate the appetizer, set your house on fire and make sure you don't call the fire department until you know it's too late. Sift through the ashes, collect the insurance, and start making new memories to replace all those that you have lost. Another holiday recipe from Kraft.
Mara Show.
Christmas time is upon us, and you're probably dreading having your house full of screaming bastards on the 25th. And you can bet that you're squeezing that wallet dry on presents alone. Are you going to spend Christmas hungry just because those ravenous little urchins have you down to the felt?
Oh.
Not with this holiday favorite. Get ready for Richard Queasy's Yuletide Clam Chops. Start by aggravating a dozen gently used horse eggs in a Chinese wishing lantern. Yes, that is a real thing. I looked it up. If any of the eggs seem ready to hatch, throw them at the wall and enjoy the mess. With that nasty business out of the way, sing to the eggs in Gaelic until they're properly confused. Then simply hide them in the closet for no less than a week. At this point, their innards should be properly congealed and or homogenized. Just don't let them know what's coming next. The element of surprise is key here. Next, crack the eggs into a large miniskirt tied off at one end, while simultaneously adding 2 pounds of discount flour sweepings and a stick of emu butter. Nothing satisfies like real emu butter. Look for the emu butter coupon in the current issue of Carrie Fisher's Rehab Digest on newsstands now. Your batter should be a disturbing shade of purple and slightly rancid. Put some in your pocket, just to be sure. Pour the batter over a dozen Dick Queasy brand slightly ammoniated and little neck quahogs and put the little fuckers on the roof of your car for a fortnight. If any of the clams have grown a beard, give them a quick shave, then simply toss them in the trash and be done with them.
Oh, dear.
When the clam chops are full of vigor, cover them with Kraft Baby marshmallows and cook them for 10 hours at 85 degrees in an old-fashioned New English lobster furnace. When it's all over, just peel off the film. And before you know it, you and your family will be eating a Christmas dinner at a fraction of the price you would pay for foods that meet government safety standards. Another fabulous holiday recipe from Kraft. Yay!
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
No, we don't have to do it now. Now we can do something, and let's pray that I don't mess this up.
Oh, well, it all lies in the hands of the writer.
Here we go. Christmas time is fun time, but it's also hungry time. And with so many treats to be enjoyed, sometimes it's easy to forget about food's ugly cousin, the beverage. That's why it's time to take the time to make some time for a new brew to tame that savage Yuletide thirst. It's Celine Serta's racially insensitive Christmas punch. Oh, God. A festive flagon of this elixir will warm you from within like a Ford F-150 with a bad radiator. Start by secretly retrieving and melting the igloo that your simple-minded ADHD neighbor boy built after the season's first snowfall.
What the hell?
Since it was basically just a dusting, use discarded cheesecloth from an abandoned hospital to strain out all the sticks, leaves, and excrement from the water. Reserve the particulates from the cheesecloth and store them in your cheek while resisting the urge to spit or swallow. Next, hide in the bushes and taunt the other neighbor you hate by implying his parents never married. Also, mention his peculiar differences. Keep in mind that, like any classic Christmas wassail, this beverage... What?
It's wassail.
Well, okay, Ben Franklin, why are you putting that in the copy? Keep in mind that, like any other Christmas classic beverage, this requires a base. Our base starts with 1 U.S. gallon, roughly 190 ounces of apple cider. The brand of cider we recommend is Dixon. It has a well-balanced tartness. Look for the Dixon Cider coupon in this week's issue of Double Entendre magazine, available on newsstands now, right now. Simmer the Dixon cider in a 20-quart saucier until you suffer slight anal leakage.
Oh.
When the Dixon cider starts to bubble, add 3 Milk-Bone dog treats, 16.5 tablespoons of oil from a tuna can, a cup and a half of movie theater popcorn, buttery topping flavor compound, and 1 tapioca-filled gourd. Pretend to ignore the mixture to make it jealous. Dispense the Dixon cider into a 75-quart cooling crock using your wassail nozzle. This will make your wassail docile unless you jostle your wassail. Now add a cinnamon stick. Unless you hate all the good things in the world. And a dash of mace. If you haven't already done it, now would be a good time to tell your daughter that you've cut her out of the will because she is a morally corrupt whore. But here's the surprise. She's actually in the will, but you're only leaving her your debt. That's a Christmas surprise that even O. Henry would applaud. Next, pour the igloo water through the cavity of a partially defeathered goose, making sure to catch the goose water in the helmet of a suit of armor. Give it a quick stir with a dismantled hourglass, but don't spill the sand, you moron. If your feet have fallen asleep... If your feet have fallen asleep, you better hit them up with a box grater. Next, get your punch bowl out of the mausoleum, and if you don't have a punch bowl, use an inverted cake dome. Or a colander, if you can drink really fast. Remember, we recommend Dixon cider. Line the punch bowl with 1 diced pineapple. Use a mandolin slicer if you don't value your fingers. 6 toads, a chunk of Swiss cheese, 9 GoBots, a caper, 10 cc's of you-know-what, and 1/3 of a bag of Kraft Baby Marshmallows. Next, boil the igloo water until it totally evaporates. Then throw the helmet into the neighborhood storm drain and deny any knowledge of it. Get the Dixon cider and pour it into the punch bowl. Make sure to spill all of it in the mimeograph. On the mimeograph. Sorry. Top with a quart of Aunt Beru's blue milk and then check your prostate. Stir the wassail with your fingers, add ketchup to taste, and never admit to your emotional shortcomings. Serve in a chilled copper mug as you come to the realization that your wife is never coming back. Another holiday favorite from Kraft.
Marriage.
I'm sorry. No, that's a different bit. I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
Holiday hustle and bustle can back up more than just the interstate. Sometimes an unstuffed stocking is the greatest gift. After all, Santa can't spread cheer if something's stuck in your chimney. Here's a treat from south of the border that'll have you building a wall just to keep all the flavor in. It's Chipotle's chocolate fountain burritos.
Oh no!
Start by laying down several quilts soaked overnight in artificial deer urine. If the local hunting depot runs out, tell them that the president is taking deer urine away. And then sell the bottles back for a profit. They'll believe anything. When you're not ready, don't simmer 1 metric pound of underground beef until all that doesn't remain is in the memory. I'm sorry, let me do that again. There was alcohol involved in writing this.
Oh, yes, gin.
When you're not ready, don't simmer 1 metric pound of underground beef until all that doesn't remain is the memory. And if Mike read the last sentence correctly, he's a far better man than I. Well, he knew that. He knew that was coming. Next, smash 3 flour tortillas onto the floor with your bare feet. If your feet are dirty, the prize is sepsis.
Yum.
For safety's sake, insert your most entrusted earplugs and force some optimistic lettuce to listen to Elliot in the Morning until the lettuce loses its will to live. Then promptly hit it over the head with a hammer. This should be easy as the entirety of the lettuce is in its head. Or its head. Now it's time for the carne, which is Spanish for meat, you dummy. Dice up the 3 unfrozen 28-degree Sicilian Angus steaks that we forgot to tell you to purchase earlier. Be sure to leave some gristle in each meat cube. After all, it wouldn't be Chipotle if you didn't have to spit out something after every bite.
Oh, God.
Don't worry. We haven't forgotten about the toppings. In several disgusting solid onyx rectangular bowls, present the following: dirty rag paste, purple butt beans, razor blade rice, hoisin crispy owl, hell of a bad sour cream dip, Cocoa Puffs, fat-free lard, Ted Cruz's baby pictures, the deceased lettuce, shredded queso malo, an open invitation to fail, and the whole point of this silly bit, Kraft Baby Marshmallows! Now for the assembly.
Oh.
If left to their own devices, the average burrito jockey would gladly hand you a shriveled clump of rice, beans, and lettuce, lightly garnished with air that has the warm smell of carnitas. And don't even think about cheese.
Don't even.
This is Matty Bloom's stream of consciousness like I have never heard before. Worth coming in today, eh,
Yeah,
Pony? I
worth
know
a
it
drive.
is. Okay, let me see.
Don't even
now,
think about cheese.
The proper burrito should be roughly the size of an infant and composed of 70% meat, 20% cheese, 10% other crap, and another 20% meat. After all, a meal without meat is like a handyman without fingers. And vegans are whiny assholes that make shitty food. For the proper Chipotle atmosphere, invite a neighbor in sweatpants to stand in front of you for 10 minutes, trying to decide what they want. The menu hasn't changed in over a decade, but thinking ahead is way harder than pawing at the glass divider like a moron. If this Latin delight doesn't clear out your system by the time old Saint Nick shows up, then the milk and cookies are on us. Another holiday recipe from Kraft.